Finesse is not something I usually associate with wireless audio products, especially with headphones in particular. But the Bowers & Wilkins Px7 S3s are the exception that proves the rule, offering a subtler sonic profile at a respectable price. For the absolute sound, I'm John Quain. In case you're not familiar with the brand, Bowers & Wilkins started out in the 60s in the UK as a boutique speaker brand, really. Over the years, their line has grown. Now they've been purchased by Harman finally, which is in turn owned by Samsung. The company has a complete line of speakers, headphones. They even include sound bars. That line still ranges from the still shocking look of the Nautilus speakers, they're over 30 years old, still one of the most radical designs ever in speakers, to more pedestrian sound bars that they sell as well. Over the decades, B&W has rightfully earned a reputation for producing equipment that is designed to be colorless, yet lively, that is sort of faithful to the original recordings without sounding flat. It's a tricky juggling act, but one that the company has managed over the years, and with their audiophile experience, it makes the Px7 S3's headphones worth listening to. The $479 Px7 S3s are wireless over-the-ear noise-canceling headphones. They use conventional 40mm dynamic drivers, a DSP, a digital signal processor on board, as well as an onboard DAC to handle incoming audio feeds. And they're conservatively rated to handle about 30 hours of playing before they need to be recharged. In my testing, they lasted a lot longer than that, but I don't use much of the other features such as noise canceling, purely for music listening, mostly for me. The wireless headphones support Bluetooth 5.3, the latest one, and the latest aptX Lossless codec, as well as lesser codecs, including AAC. The aptX codec works best on high-resolution sound sources such as Qobuz, which was used extensively in my testing. You can reach 24-bit, 96 kilohertz resolution audio by plugging in the heavy USB cable that is included as well if you want to do that. But most people, look, they're wireless headphones. That's what you purchase them for. So most of the comments about the audio quality and sonic personality of these headphones are based on using that wireless codec. It also includes a hard case with the package, a USB to mini jack cable, so you can connect to other devices for analog. And that pretty much covers all the portable digital music sources you're going to encounter from smartphones to laptops for most people. For reference, I did test these headphones with that wired digital connection. But again, most of the comments refer to using the aptX Lossless codec and over streaming services. B&W does include an app as well for your smartphone, a music app they call it. It's serviceable, not extraordinary. It does connect you directly to some of their favorite streaming services, including Qobuz and others. And it does critically have a 5-band customizable EQ that you can use to tweak the sound. Again, you can go to transparent mode. You can turn noise canceling on and off. Those kind of basic features all within the app. Pleasing. If there's one word that captures the Px7 S3 headphones, it's pleasing. Look, they have a really nice turned out soundstage, one of the hallmarks of these headphones. To say that is to say these headphones do a great job placing the instruments and voices in the mix up and down, side to side, left and right, without overplaying their hand by turning it into some kind of synthesized ersatz surround sound system. You know what I'm talking about. So by not exaggerating the soundstage, B&W keeps it real by giving you the live sense of a recording instead of feeling like you're listening to your friend's 7.1 surround sound system in their basement, if you know what I mean. Been there, done that. That said, a recent software update for these headphones does include an immersive mode, which is fine. If you've got a DSP and you're an engineer, it's difficult not to play with it, right? And the mode is perfectly fine. It's just not something most music listeners are going to choose. As for voicing of these headphones, these are very much typical in the sense of dynamic drivers of this size and in this price range. The boost comes in the mid to mid bass range. You'll certainly notice that. It can be a little as if a bass guitarist took control of the mixing board, just turned it up a little bit, but it doesn't muddy the sound and it doesn't overdo the lower registers. So I don't want to leave you with that impression. Compared to other powered or wireless headphones that have their own DACs and have their own DSPs, some of those headphones sound rounder and thicker is a way I describe it. The B&Ws pull some of that compressed rock sound and bring out some of the details in it, especially on heavier material. Let's say Led Zeppelin, you're going to notice the guitar, bass guitar, and keyboards coming out a little bit more instead of feeling like it's all packed together like a Phil Spector mix or production. Some people may find there's a little too much crispness on the cymbals, but for us, it sounded just about right. So let's go through some music examples to illustrate what the sound of these headphones is really like. Let's consider, for example, something that's way overproduced. Steely Dan's Bodhisattva is a track that's certainly overproduced. It's got lots of high resolution detail in it. The sound staging is perfect in this in terms of bringing that up front and bringing out all the instrumentation that they work so hard in production on that track. Other headphones that I compared it to seem to compress it a little bit, again, coming down to that sound stage. They just get it right with these headphones. The Px7 S3s are also great if you're going to do some old school AOR, pick out of track like Bread's If. There, the vocals are pretty high in the soundstage where they should be. The bass notes are less rounded. They're more precise, again, with that emphasis, without muddying the sound. And things like the mellotron in the track is way up front, maybe a little bit more than they intended in the original recording. Something that's also perfect for this is Genesis, one of a prog rock classic, the Selling England by the Pound album. Quite smartly articulated, I must say. Peter Gabriel's vocals are faithfully reproduced there. He's kind of got an upper baritone vocal, along with guitar. Of course, Tony Banks' classically influenced keyboard passages really come out here. And there's still a little smidge of the bass guitar, but I felt it was still really true to the original track and recording, especially something like Dancing with the Moonlit Night. Great example. Switching over to a little bit of classical music as well. Since over the years bring you much better bass than, say, an in-ear set of monitors, no matter how good they are. Toccata and Fugue in D minor, Bach. David Good recording at Trinity College in Cambridge. The Stairway to Heaven, sort of classical music, I'll admit it, if you will. It did demonstrate here that you do get that thundering pipe organ. Great detail in the reverberations that you can hear in the chapel, bringing it more alive for us, giving it that live feel. And again, much richer than you're going to hear in-ear monitors or anything comparable in this price range. Some tracks you really feel like the personality of the Px7 S3s really augment the music in particular. Like some headphones are great for jazz, others are more limpid and more perfectly suited for classical music. But there were some things that stood out over the weeks of listening to these headphones. One was the Kronos Quartet with Laurie Anderson, an album called Landfall. From 2018. It's kind of an impossible album to classify, but it has this chirping and coruscating strings from the Kronos Quartet, with some tracks punctuated by Laurie Anderson's narration, this kind of flat style that she has, and the undulating, low rumbling electronics. There, the balance really did well. These headphones brought out both aspects of that kind of uncharacterizable music. Another track, something from the World Saxophone Quartet, speaking of quartets, with Julius Hempel and Oliver Lake on this track. 7 Steps to Heaven, it's from the Miles Davis tribute album. It's great on the bongo drums on that opening number. You can feel the roundedness of the hands hitting the drum head. It's really quite extraordinary. And then if the occasional the squonking of some of the instruments is a little bit too much for you on the saxophones, you'll appreciate that some of it is just a little bit more accessible here because it's just rounded off a little bit. Some of the harshness is taken off of those upper registers by these headphones. So what about all the other practical features of these headphones? Because they're wireless, they have a lot more features and usually connected to a smartphone. So you got a lot more use cases. Let's go through some of them. In terms of comfort, I'm wearing these headphones. They're not the most comfortable headphones in this category that I've tried. They tend to weigh a little bit on the top of my head, but I kind of have a square head. They might be different for you. They only weigh 300 grams, which is really not a lot. It's not the lightest, again, in this category, but it's certainly far from being the heaviest, such as something from the Apple's AirPod Max, which feel like concrete when you're weighing them by comparison. If you're going to use them to make phone calls, people interrupt you when you're listening to music. These are actually very accurate in terms of mic and sound quality for voice, very little echo or digital distortion in calls that I made. To accomplish this, the Px7 S3s, they use 4 mics each side, so a total of 8 microphones. And they use the ADI software to improve voice quality and kind of reduce the noise floor. Very effective. And I had friends say, look, it sounded like my voice, which is what you want over a phone call. They also have that noise canceling, active noise canceling that I mentioned. They do a very respectable job in certain environments with a consistent noise floor, such as on an airplane or in typical traffic noise. Of course, anytime you engage noise canceling features, it's going to negatively affect the audio quality depending on the noise that they're trying to counteract at the time. No matter what literature may say, look, it definitely has some impact on it. But if you want to listen to music in a mobile setting or in transit, it can be a lifesaver in terms of canceling out some of the distraction of your surrounding environment. Lastly, controls. So most headphones, wireless headphones in this category, you have to swipe or swirl or tap a certain number of times. It becomes like learning another language. Thankfully, B and W has gone the other way. So lots of us hate those haptic touchscreen kind of controls. If you do, you're going to love these headphones because they have actual buttons on them. Wow, what a concept, right? There's a power button on and off. There's volume up and down, the Bluetooth connection. Very handy. You can feel it with your fingers, very easily to do. People are going to really appreciate that. Overall, the Bowers & Wilkins Px7 S3 headphones fit nicely into the company's traditional sonic lineup and heritage. They round off some of the harshness in the high end while delivering a richer and tighter mid to lower frequency range. If you're familiar with the Harman curve, you know what I mean. And if there's a single word to describe the Px7s, it's pleasing. They're not completely colorless, or some would say flat, but they have enough liveliness so you don't get bored, but not so much that you might find them fatiguing. If you enjoyed this review or found it helpful, please hit the like button on your screen. Also, consider subscribing to the Absolute Sounds online newsletter. It's free. And if you're so inclined, there is a monthly magazine, The Absolute Sound. Please consider subscribing as well. For The Absolute Sound, I'm John Quain.